Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. We're breaking down some injury news to begin today's show. Tyler Smith left practice early today with what has been called hamstring discomfort. The Cowboys allegedly think it is minor. They're not concerned about it, but hamstrings can tend to linger, and it's not the headline you want to see in your first practice for week one. The Cowboys, by the way, are off on Tuesday, back out on the field on Wednesday, so we won't know more until then, that's when the first injury report will come out as well. T. Smith injured hamstring. I would have thought it was Tyron Smith that we would have had that headline for, not Tyler Smith there. Hopefully it is super minor. McCarthy has always been a very cautious coach when it comes to various injuries and whatnot there. If Tyler Smith can't go, I don't know who's the next man up. I would assume it's Awesome Richards, since he's spent some time on both the left tackle and the left guard spot. You could try TJ Bass there, maybe Chuma Adoga, who hasn't done much so far. Hopefully it's all moot and he's out there and playing, and it's all a great positive thing. But what is your concern level over the Tyler Smith hamstring issue? Hopefully it's low, but I understand the concerns given recent histories for the Cowboys offensive line getting hurt. Scale it for me from 1 to 10 in the comments section. Some other injury news and notes here. Sam Williams not at practice today. He was in shorts and a t-shirt, whatever. Not in his actual pads. Turf toe for him. We'll see what the status says Wednesday. If you can get him limited on Wednesday, it means he should be good to go in actual week one. Donovan Wilson, meanwhile, still not practicing. He was on the resistance bands on the side today. He's recovering from a calf injury, so hopefully Dono's back out there for week one. I think his rehab's been a little bit slower than the Cowboys would have liked. Not going to jeopardize week 10 to get him out there for week one, though, and risk re-aggravating it, making it worse. So we will monitor that one pretty closely throughout the week. All right, folks, if you want to stay locked into all of the Dallas Cowboys news and rumors, everything else going on out there, hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/CowboysTV. From news to rumors side of it here, Dion Jones has been, again, linked to the Cowboys, which I'm down to mention Dion Jones because I know most of you guys ask about him, and it makes sense, right? The ties to Dan Quinn, the DeMarvion Overshown injury means him being named by a Bleacher Report as the best free agent target. That makes sense to me. That's not a huge surprise. Now, what was a surprise to me is that Deion Jones did not make the Panthers' 53-man roster. And at his age, coming off of a down year, being a veteran, that should raise some very big red flags. The Deion Jones, remember, at his peak, at his best with Dan Quinn in Atlanta, is not the same guy we've seen as of late. The tackle numbers have stayed high, but he's also gotten beat more in coverage, and he didn't play as much as you might have thought for the Cleveland Browns last year. So where would Deion Jones rank in your linebacker room? At least 4, right? Maybe even 3 over Devin Harper. But remember, Jaron Kearse plays a ton in the box. He'll be kind of a linebacker, de facto linebacker, You'll see a ton of Marquise Bell, relatively speaking, at linebacker. So I don't know if you desperately need to add Deion Jones to your roster. With that in mind, what would you guys do? It's one of those, I would not be mad at it, but I'm not going to be mad if they don't do it either. I'll trust Quinn on that front. Would you sign him? Y for yes, N for no. It is today's pinned comment. If the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. The next part of our story or show today will be another Bleacher Report article. They had 3 free agents the Cowboys must pursue, and they had contract ideas, which were terrible. First up was Matthew Ioannidis, who I've liked for a while. He was really good back at his prime in Washington. 11 TFLs, 8.5 sacks in 2019. Then he got hurt, only played 3 games in 2020. Not as good with the Commanders 2021, not as good in 2022. And the thing you have to remember with all of these hypothetical moves, who's getting cut? Normally, it'll be at the same spot. Well, you're not going to cut Osa. You're not going to cut Mozzie. You're not going to cut Hankins. You're not going to cut Golston. Fehoko was a draft pick. You're not going to risk Ridgewaying him, letting him get claimed off of waivers. Neville Gallimore, you could, but Ioannidis wasn't that good. I think you got similar-ish players with the way I thought Gallimore played much better this preseason. Here was the argument from Bleacher Report. At this point in the offseason, Ioannidis shouldn't be especially expensive either. He played on a one-year, $9.5 million deal last year. If he's looking for work now, he should be open to taking a little bit less to land with a contender. So their contract idea was 1 year, $6.5 million, which is stupid. It blows my mind how frequently Bleacher Report does not understand contracts. To put it in perspective, $6.5 million for a dude who has not been signed all preseason, all offseason, is on the wrong side of 30, didn't play that well last year. That is over double the cap hit for any other defensive tackle on this Cowboys roster. You are not paying double for Matthew Ioannidis. What I would do is want to come be a practice squad player? Like this type of guy fits the Jason Peters mold. 1 year deals, maybe $2 million. 6.5 is a reckless offer. It's a massive overpay for a player of that caliber. Now, if you don't want to be overpaying for tickets when you go to a sporting event, make sure you are using GameTime with killer deals on last-minute tickets and the best price guarantee. You can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you will have. It is easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area, whether that is sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, whatever. They have their lowest price guarantee. That's the GameTime guarantee. Means you will always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section in row for less, GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference. You can get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, baseball, basketball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. That middle screenshot you see, by the way, I think it's a fantastic feature of the app. Shows you where your seat is, and if you move your phone left or right, you can see the surrounding area. So it's kind of like a little 3D live photo pretty much there. So download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code CowboysChat for $20 off your first purchase. You go to the redeem code section of the app and plug in Cowboys Chat once you sign up with an email. It's that simple. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code Cowboys Chat for $20 off. That link is going to be in the comment section and the description of today's show. If you're buying Cowboys tickets this year, make sure you are using GameTime. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Some more free agency conversation here on Bradley Roby. Again, same article from Bleacher Report. I would say he's probably one of the better, if not the best, free agent corners on the market. Now, with that in mind, should always go, why'd they get cut? He's not as good as he was in his prime. He wasn't bad last year, but the Saints, I feel like, were pretty quick to make the pivot over to Alontae Taylor and go in that direction. The biggest issue you run into is the Bradley Roby role is already occupied. It's the Deron Bland role, who's younger and better. Bland's your starting nickel who can play on the outside if needed. You made the trade for Noah Igbinoghene. You have Eric Scott. Jordan Lewis is going to be healthy. I don't see corner as a need right now. Now, for any of these guys, there's a bad injury. That could all change. So for Bleacher Report to suggest a 2-year, $11 million deal for Bradley Roby, what are we doing here, fellas? Why are we trying to give Bradley Roby just as much / a little bit more than what Jordan Lewis makes? To what? Be corner 5? How does that make sense? Please, I am begging you, learn ball, learn contracts. All right, next up, I'm not done cooking yet, Christian Kirksey. Now, this could be a decent veteran option, although he has shown signs of decline, and he is technically on the Bills practice squad. So you have to sign to the active roster, which, the contract stuff we'll get to here. So if you have to sign one, ignore the contract side, just sign them to your active roster. Who is it? CK, I think that makes the most sense. He fills the biggest need at off-ball linebacker. BR for Bradley Roby, MI for Matthew Ioannidis. Pick one you have to sign. No cop-out answers. Go vote for me in the comment section who you'd rather sign, CK, BR, or MI. Let's move to more conversation here on Christian Kirksey. 2022, the tackle numbers were really good. 124. So you go, again, Why'd they cut him? I think D'Amico Ryans is an elite linebackers coach, even though, of course, he's the head coach, but still. Raised some red flags. He got cut, right? Now, he would be at least linebacker 4 on this team right now. At least. It's a low bar to clear. Don't get me wrong. And if you wanted to sign him, much like others we've mentioned, Dion Jones, sure, it's fine. I'm not like, oh my God, you got to get him. If you go out and get him, I'll be excited. I'll enjoy it. But I'm not going to be mad if they don't end up getting him. Especially when the contract is 2 years, $8 million, which would tie Christian Kirksey for the highest paid linebacker on the Cowboys with Leighton Vander Esch. It's the exact same contract. So why are you giving a practice squatter a 2-year, $8 million deal? It's the vet minimum. That's all he would cost right now. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know who the editor is that goes, yes, that deal makes sense. You got to dial it in. That is not a logical contract to be giving out. Be better and subscribe to the Cowboys Report if you're watching Bleacher Report so you can actually get some good football insight into contracts.